Hey everyone, welcome back to my series on learning how to 3D model for 3D printing. Today we're going to learn about edit mode. And to get to edit mode, all you have to do is go up here and click on edit mode. Now, alternatively, you can press the tab button, and by default it'll go between object mode and edit mode. And one thing to note, let's add a cylinder here. Let's move that aside. One thing to note is that when you go to edit mode, it edits the object that you have selected in object mode. So if we want to edit this cube, we have to select it first and then go to edit mode. And as you can see, it changes it up a little bit. These points show up and it's all highlighted. So yeah, let's talk about that real quick. This point is called a vertex. And if you click on multiple, they're called vertices. And to select that, you have to have this highlighted. This is the vertex select mode. And this is if you just want to manipulate these points individually. So we have here the move command, and let's say we just want to move this out and up. We could do something like that. Okay. So the next one is called the edge select, and an edge is just a line that is connected by two vertices. So here we can select this edge instead of clicking on this vertex and then this vertex, and then we could like manipulate that so together. Okay, and a face, you guessed it, is kind of like a plane connected by multiple vertices, at least 3. So yeah, we can select this whole face, and then when we move it around, the whole thing moves. Okay? So pretty much that's what edit mode is. You take these like primary objects. Let's add a sphere. You take one of these primary objects and you manipulate it into whatever you want it to be. And it's kind of a long and complicated process. And this is probably the part where a lot of 3D modelers just want to quit. But I beg you, stay with me and we will get through this together. So right now we're going to edit this cube. And to do that, I'm just going to show you four easy shortcuts to help you manipulate this object more effectively. Okay? And the first one we're going to talk about is called the Bevel tool. And it's right here. And the shortcut for that is CTRL B. So to bevel, you do CTRL B. And as you can see, as you move your cursor further away, it kind of smooths out that edge that you are beveling. And if you scroll up on the mouse wheel, it increases the amount of beveling that occurs. So if you do it a lot, then it'll be like super smooth. But you don't want to do it too much because you don't want to introduce that many new vertices, because it'll be harder for your computer to like process. So try to keep it simple. Okay, like this, especially if we're 3D modeling to 3D print objects that are like tiny. The detail doesn't need to be that strong. Okay, so that is the bevel tool. Okay, the next shortcut we're going to talk about is the loop cut. And for that, we're going to select our cylinder here. And the shortcut for loop cut is CTRL R. And what that does is it creates a new set of vertices around the object in a certain direction to the best that it can. Okay, so, and you can also do the mouse wheel up to increase however many you want to make, but we're just going to make the one, and then we're going to right click to place it exactly in the middle. You can, left click, and then you can move this wherever you want it to be. And if you right click at this point, it will just go right in the middle. So that could be a good way to split an object exactly in half. But yeah, you don't have to put it exactly there. And once you do that, you can move it up and down. So it's not such a big deal. But yeah, let's talk about this real quick. This is another shortcut for selecting your vertices. So it's left click to select the vertex. But if you hold shift, you can select multiple vertices. Like let's say we select these 4 and it selects this face. And you could always do the face select, but sometimes you don't want to do that. But also, if you see kind of like a loop like this, that's why that's called a loop cut, because it makes a loop around the object. You can alternatively hold Alt and left click, and it'll select all the vertices in that loop. Okay? So as you can see, it selects all the way around. Alt left click selects these all the way around. So keep that in mind. And then, like, let's say we want to make this into like a saucer. Then we could Alt left click to select the middle, scale, and then now we have a flying saucer. Okay, but let's Alt Z for that and leave it there for now. Okay, and the next shortcut that we're going to talk about, and we're going to stick with our cylinder here, is called the Inset. And it's right here. And the shortcut for that is just I. No Control I, it's just I. And as you can see, it creates, without changing the overall shape, it creates a smaller face within a face. Okay, so we have our circular face at the top here. And it just makes a smaller one, and you can decide however big you want. And as you can see, it created all these other vertices. Okay. And just a quick little demonstration of what you can do with it is something like that. If you want to make, I don't know, it's kind of looking like Mega Man's blaster. But yeah, let's Control Z to this point. And then from here, we're going to talk about our last shortcut, which is the Extrude shortcut. And that's over here, and the shortcut for that one is E. So what that does is it, without changing the shape, whatever face you select, it kind of pops it out. Or in. So as you can see, while it's doing this, it is creating a new set of vertices that originate within the same. So these vertices are essentially copied, and then they're kind of pulled out. So that if we go here, this is pretty much what we had to start with, except you can't really tell. There's 2 vertices on each of these that are overlapping. Okay? So you can either extrude it up, or if you want to make like a little trash can or something, you can do that. And yeah, the last thing I want to talk about is right up here, these viewing options. Right now, by default, it's in solid viewport shading. Okay, it's in solid mode, but you can change that to wireframe mode, and for some reason, by default, it's the X-ray is on, which this is the X-ray, Alt-Z. Okay. So wireframe mode kind of gets rid of the shading so that you just see the object as it is. And as you can see, let's say I wanted to push this down like close to the bottom. It's kind of hard to tell if I'm like this, like how far it is. Of course, I can look at the cursor, but it disappears when I'm doing this, right? So you could toggle the X-ray, maybe go into front view, and now you have this clear line because it's see-through. And you could put it close to the bottom, not all the way, because you don't want to go through, which you can do, but that'll really mess up your stuff when you're trying to 3D print this, because the inside is outside now, and it won't done well. Okay, so don't do that. So make sure it doesn't go through like that. And you always want to make sure you have at least some distance for when you're 3D printing to fill out the inside. Okay. So I think that's about it for today. Actually, there's one more thing we need to talk about, and that's proportional editing. And to demonstrate, we're going to use this sphere. And in edit mode, if you click on the vertex, you can move it individually, right? And if you want to move like a few of them, you can, but as you can see, it's like not the best way. But with proportional editing, you just click this, and you can move several vertices more smoothly, I guess. And whatever's inside this circle is affected, and you could change the size of the circle with the mouse wheel. Okay? So I want to make like an egg, let's say. So I just like do it like that. And now I have this egg. So yeah, that's one thing you should know because it might come in handy. Okay? Alright, so that's going to be it for today. And today's homework is for you to create some kind of object. Maybe like Thor's hammer, Mjolnir is a good example. Something that's just made up of a couple of these shapes, and try to make it as good as you can without spending too much time on it. Okay, don't make it look like professional grade, just good enough is what we're aiming for. Okay, and we will review some of that in our next lesson. Okay, so yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.